It's late, and you're driving along Route 44. In the near distance, you see a man in a tattered flannel shirt and dirty jeans walking on the side of the road. He notices you and sticks up his thumb, asking to hitch a ride. In this society, you know better than to pick up some suspicious-looking man. You whiz past him. A few moments pass, and you check your mirrors to look for him. Shockingly, he's now in your back seat and lets out a bone-chilling laugh. Beware the Phantom Hitchhiker of Route 44. Welcome to Ghost Binkers.
I was thoroughly spooked though by that.
Oh, okay. That's good feedback.
Good reading.
I appreciate it. I'm already feeling so great about this podcast. Welcome to Ghost Binkers, a brand new podcast where we debunk ghost stories. And debunk is a very loose term, which is why we are the Binkers, not the Bunkers. I'm Trev, and I really desperately want to believe in ghosts.
I'm Brett, and ghosts might be real.
Oh, okay.
I'm Killian. Ghosts aren't real. Sorry. I feel mean. I'm going last. I should have gone middle.
And together we are the Ghost Binkers.
The Binkers.
The Binkers. We could work on like a barbershop quartet or something. The Binkers.
Ghost Binkers.
That's pretty good. Big. Clearly, this episode is about the Phantom Hitchhiker of Route 44, and we will get into that very shortly. But I have one little warm-up question for you guys.
I thought we were going to do some vocal warm-ups for our barbershop quartet.
Well,
aluminum, linoleum, aluminum.
If you wanna do the warm-up question in a barbershop quartet practice, you can. Are you scared of your mirror person? And I can expand on that if you don't know what that means.
You don't have to. Yes. Yes, but like not once so every like week I make myself look in the mirror for a long time to challenge the mirror person to get me. Like I like.
Are you hoping they're going to back down?
They do every time. Oh. I mean, they've never gotten me, you know. I think like it's totally normal to be afraid of the dark and the mirror and all that stuff, and that's why you have to stand in the middle of your house surrounded by mirrors in the darkness. And
I was going to say the mirror
and beg for death, and then see if it takes you, and it won't. You know,
the mirror in the dark it like hits even harder than just like a regular mirror. Every night, like if I am like waking up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, I am doing a full just like keeping my eyes away from the mirror, walking to the toilet. And if I do look over, my mirror person points at me and I'm like, and I run away.
I do a quick like scoot sometimes. Yeah. Like I'll scoot by the mirror real quick at night.
It's definitely because it can see you and you can't see it. That's why you're terrified.
That's actually even scarier.
It's like that feeling when you're like, if you're walking in the woods and you're like, I think something's watching me, and you're like, it's a squirrel.
Yeah.
But like, it's your mirror person.
It's always your mirror person.
Are you suggesting that there's a squirrel in my mirror? I have some sort of structural weakness in my house.
I did what you did at one point where I was like, I'm going to stare at my mirror person and just be a brave little lad. If he did actually back down, that would still scare me.
Well, there's a bit of a psychological thing where if you look at one spot for a while, your brain will kind of like, it focuses on the one spot and loses focuses on the surroundings.
The edges
so like
blurry.
That's why people think that their reflection will move in ways that it's not sometimes, because you're staring at your eyes and then like, you know, the hair moves in a way that your brain's not good at picking up that stuff. I'm afraid of the mirror person because I think I'm the only person who could like defeat me in mutual combat. I'm the only person who's smart enough to know my cool moves. It is me.
It's not just you, but it's like reverse you.
Yeah.
So everything you do, it like probably knows some sort of counter for.
Yeah.
Which is,
although that's got to be true of it too. So I'm worried we kill each other. Two beautiful dead people in the middle of my mirror.
You just
mutually assured destruction. There.
You both like land a knockout punch at the same time. Next question: are you scared of your mirror person's mirror person?
me and my mirror person are going to team up on my mirror person's mirror person. I thought you were going a different way. You could like kiss your mirror person. I think.
That's true.
Yeah.
Would you
your mirror person could be your friend.
Sometimes I look in the mirror. I'm like, I look pretty today. You know.
That's fair.
What if the mirror person
would you kiss your mirror person?
Oh, for sure.
I've thought about it.
Yeah.
You guys spend too much time in front of the mirror. I don't think I've ever like spent enough time looking in the mirror to realize.
I want to be clear. you get out of the shower, the mirror's right there.
Yeah.
You know?
No, the mirror's all foggy.
Sometimes you gotta check out the jawline, see that it's not as weak as you think it is.
The Rizzler.
You gotta do the Rizzler. You gotta just make sure like your jawline isn't as weak as you think it is, and then you go, okay, it's not so bad. I can go out in public.
I mean, the most time I spend looking in the mirror is when I'm shaving, which happens like once every whenever I feel like shaving.
So I see you're rocking the mustache today.
Yeah, this was a yesterday. First time I had shaved in like 5 months.
I'm going to be on Ghost Spinkers. I got to rock the mustache. I respect it.
You saw Paul Skeens talking on TikTok and you're like, hey, I got to do it.
Don't have a TikTok. So.
No, you know, I
do love Paul Skeens though.
I love his personality, his shining personality. I'm not embarrassed to say that I'll look at myself in the mirror as much as I want.
Yeah,
100 hours. I don't care.
I mean, sometimes
Narcissa style, I'll fall in there.
I make little funny faces at myself and see if I can get myself to laugh or feel embarrassed.
I pose like Aphrodite. I just throw my arms up and have a good time. You know,
no shame in that.
Hey.
I like it. So
I guess I'm not afraid. I'm aroused by my mirror being.
even in the dark.
You're enthused.
Well, it's like, you know.
I think in the dark it's more exciting.
It's like in a club.
You can pretend they're whoever you want.
It's like getting beer goggles for my mirror person.
So speaking of mirror people, this is a pretty ham-handed transition here. There's people out in the world, and some people might be hitchhiking, and some of them might be ghosts.
I thought you were going into an ad read. Some people might need their mirror person's bank information stored in one secure access point.
This episode is sponsored by Double Mirror Mirrors. Does your mirror person need a mirror person? We got Double Mirror Mirrors.
You meant a mirror that looks back. It's just a wall, but it's two mirrors pointing at each other, but you can't tell because you can't see anything. And then it would be a mirror. So it's just.
Oh, that's a weird thought.
It's a mirror to put over your mirror that faces back in, so the mirror person has to fight itself forever.
You're just looking at the back of a mirror at that point.
Yeah. Which is a wall, scientifically.
So let's get into our main story of the episode, the Phantom Hitchhiker of Route 44. So this story comes to us through spooky South Coast. Our author is Christopher Balzano. And don't laugh at the name.
Italian on episode 1, man.
Don't laugh at the name.
Episode 1. He was like, hey, I was making for kissing my mother. I was kissing my mother on the road and I saw a spooky guy.
My mother, I found a ghost.
Hey, what the fuck you want on the road? I'm so scared. Come on.
So just shout out to Chris for
sorry about that.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Sorry for making fun of your Italian heritage.
And your lived experience of
kissing your mother on the mouth.
Chris is in his boxers. He's like, Ma, you hear what they're fucking saying on the podcast?
I think I'm allowed to say it because I'm 25% Italian.
That's a great point. I'm 0% Italian.
One thing, if I'm just going to put this out there now, as someone who is just kind of like the mutt of the racial world, I'm going to use every race I have to my advantage and make fun of every race that I can.
Might as well.
Within the limits of my genealogy.
Yeah. You should do that with everything, you know?
Yeah.
Italian. Anything in life that you can do that, just immediately start crying.
Nigerian, French.
Yeah.
Native American, yeah.
If you sense
a little bit of Native American,
if you sense
1%,
like if you're at like work and you sense that you might get fired, you should be like, this is anti-bald discrimination. This is anti-shaved head discrimination. Like you just gotta like whatever tool you got.
Yeah. Is it because I have something between my teeth? Is that why? Because I can fix that. Okay, let's get into the story. People from New England survive on a history of oral tradition passed down by word of mouth in accents that sound funny to the rest of the country. That makes sense.
Are these Chris's words?
These are Chris's words. Yeah.
This is the written story.
Whether it's the sports they play or the lives they live, the people are natural storytellers. Many things that happen within the triangle. This is the Bridgewater Triangle, by the way.
Do you want to give our listeners who maybe aren't from within 20 minutes of Bridgewater, like what the Bridgewater Triangle is?
Yeah, so the
roughly?
Bridgewater, and we're actually going to do an episode on the Bridgewater Triangle, but to expand, it's just like this weird like zone, kind of like the Bermuda Triangle, I guess, where
I'm assuming that's where it got its name from.
Yeah, like the most haunted things, I'm doing air quotes, the most haunted things have happened in that area. Lots of
it's an area kind of nothing.
Well, I guess people could look it up. It's like the north of Raynham into Bridgewater. There's like 3 points, and then most of it is this like swampy area in Bridgewater.
Yeah.
And that swamp supposedly has some people who have seen like
Pugwudgies.
monsters.
Pugwudgies, yeah. We'll do...
I assume that Swamp Thing lives there and is very mad about not being human anymore, and he's breaking laboratories and fighting the devil. Sort of swamp man activities.
I would say so, yeah. As the resident
want to believe her, I would say that's all true. So within the triangle, we're talking about the Bridgewater Triangle. Many things that happen within the triangle become the subject of local lore, and in turn, much of the mythos
Both are great, bud.
mythos
Either way.
of the area.
Okay, don't say it like Mario.
Mythos of the area seeps into the people's collective consciousness, turning explainable shadows into ghosts. The truth might be somewhere in the middle, and at that crossroads lives the red-headed hitchhiker of Route 44.
Look, I gotta say, I respect that Chris broke the fucking pen out for this.
Yeah.
He wasn't like, so I was fucking driving it. He was like, one day, in the middle of the dark, does your mind know what it sees truly? You know, you're like,
This is more of like an investigative one where like Chris is trying to get to the bottom of this. Like Chris actually, from what I remember of this, is not like sold on the hitchhiker. Kind of like me, wants to believe.
That's the best kind of ghost stories when the guy's like, even I don't really believe.
Even I don't know.
But what I saw that day.
That is the best kind of ghost story. For as long as people in the area can remember, there have been claims of a red-headed man walking down US Route 44 in Rehoboth, Massachusetts, and some have stopped to pick him up, only to have him disappear on them. It sounds like an excellent story, giving people chills around a campfire, but the story might be more truth than legend, and the ghost might be more supernatural than literary. The description of the ghost is always the first thing that draws people to the story. A driver is going along Route 44 at night, usually near the Seekonk Rehoboth line, where they encounter a well-built man between the ages of 45 and 55. So there's a thick boy.
I didn't realize it was
well built.
I didn't realize it was around Seekonk, Rehoboth.
It's very close.
It's very away from Bridgewater at that point.
Yeah.
On Route 44.
Yeah.
I think that's like the edge of the triangle.
It is the edge of the triangle.
That's like the fucking...
Technically, Fall River is outside.
This is a scalene ass triangle. That's a point.
Yeah, what is the shape of this triangle?
And also, like, that's a long ass road.
Yeah.
Long,
Route 44 goes like, I feel like halfway across Massachusetts.
Single lane fucking road.
So this built man, he has red hair and usually a beard and is dressed in a red flannel shirt with either jeans or brown work pants and work boots.
Is this the Bounty guy? Are you describing the logo for Bounty?
It's either like the Bounty Man.
The Bounty Man or Ed Sheeran trying to be nondescript.
Or
quicker.
Ed Sheeran just
quicker
being the Bounty guy.
Yeah, his Halloween costume.
That makes him like, oh my God, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes he is well kept, but other times he appears disheveled with an overgrown beard.
All of us have our days, man.
Dirty pants.
Jesus.
And an untucked shirt. I know.
Well, what does he look like when he's disheveled? He's like, he's got cum on his pants when he's gross. But when he's clean, he's got a suit with a beautiful flannel cufflink. Like, come on, give him some
He
ups.
seems like a blue collar man to me.
Well, I know, but I'm saying
It seems like more often than not he's disheveled.
Okay, but then why? If he's shoveled, sometimes give me some of that world.
Yeah. Most times he appears solid to the drivers, but not quite all there. Mentally or physically. Okay. But there are some stories where
if only there was a word for like in between opaque and see-through. Damn it.
Translucent? There are some stories where he is transparent throughout the entire encounter. The biggest discrepancy in the physical description of the hitchhiker is with his eyes. Some say they look normal, but just don't feel right. Some say they are black and empty, others glowing and lifeless. Every color has been attributed to them at one time or another, from yellow and red to green. And it is this
the four colors.
And
do you think his colors change? Like, do you think they've been rose gold a lot lately with the Apple, introducing the color? Do you think the girlies see a rose gold hitchhiker?
Maybe it's just whatever the Pantone color of the year is, or it's whatever Pokemon game he's most recently played.
Do you think he gets in trouble if his eyes are like really black and you're like, Vanta Black is copyrighted, sweetie. You cannot have that eye color.
Yeah, Pantone, like they'll once in a while.
Is that the Harvard Crimson? And he has to like shift the U slightly purplish,
This inconsistency that adds fuel to the skeptic's argument against the existence of a genuine spirit on 44. To be fair,
Chris is dishing me the ball in the corner.
Killian, shoot the J. To be fair, if the ghost exists, I feel like they could change eye color if they want to. You can manifest however you want to. You can change your clothes as a ghost.
It makes as much sense as anything else, for sure.
I mean, it's up to the person experiencing it, right?
Ooh, do you think this is like it's like the ghost is in your head?
So one of the theories
manifests how you feel.
One of the theories about the Bridgewater Triangle, specifically that swamp area, is that there's some kind of like fucked up gas that makes people see shit in the swamp.
Ooh,
which is I like because that just means like you're having brain damage. You're sort of,
or you're just having a bomb ass trip.
Yeah, you're just like on nitrous in the fucking swamp for some reason. So it could be that maybe maybe it depends where in the triangle what gases you're hitting.
What type of gas?
Where along Route 44 you're at?
The gas reflecting off the ghost's eyes.
Yeah.
While the man's look might draw people in, it is the stories of
Disheveled?
his exploits.
Yeah.
It's like
disgusting.
No, it's like a gritty. Like he's kind of hot in a way. It's like
hey kitten, can you pull over?
It's your grimy like boyfriend.
Yeah,
you're trying to like
My grimy boyfriend. Excuse me.
not your grimy. The general you.
Okay.
The royal you.
The royal you. Everyone has their grimy boyfriend that they're trying to impress. There's something about them that rings familiar, but like many things in the triangle, there is a twist.
Does the ghost go by they them?
No, the man's
man.
looks.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, the man's
I was
looks.
like, whoa.
There's something about his looks that rings familiar. There are many variations of the story, making him either a complex spirit or a subject of a town's imagination. Chris is really towing the line here between believer and I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good journalism.
As
They're not committing to one side or the other.
As a real skeptic, I can see he's faking to make it more poignant when he reveals that he had a ghost experience.
You think he's trying to be skeptical as a way to like win the skeptics over and then be like,
oh yeah,
but I.
Oh yeah,
but I.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see.
Someone is driving along the road, usually alone.
What is your theory that Chris posted this and was like, yeah, I drove, nothing happened? Fake story. Sucks.
It's fun, man.
Anyway, thanks, spooky. I'll go see you later.
I've driven on 44 and I've never seen this guy before.
I thought it was a different
We should
place.
take a ride.
We should take a ride.
The funny thing about some of these location-based ones that are like roads is I've driven other places. I'm like, is this where the guy is? And I get all freaked out. And I've driven probably where the guy is, and I had no fucking clue. I was like,
me too.
I'm the king of the highway.
Me too. There are a lot of times where I'm driving in that area and I'm like, it's pretty late. I hope I do not see the guy. And I never have. But maybe it's the energy you put out. And we'll keep
Maybe if you're willing to see the guy, you'll see the guy.
I hope that's all it takes, because I am not willing to see the guy. If I see the guy, and I'll explain what happens if you see the guy a little later in here. But if I see the guy, I'm swerving off the road. Okay. Where am I? Someone is driving along the road, usually alone. When they see the man on the side of the road, they stop to pick him up, and the hitchhiker gets into the passenger or back seat. Now, if he gets to the back seat, I'm saying, dog, what is this, an Uber?
It is funny that he's like, oh yeah, I'll go over here. Yeah, I don't want to talk. But no one's picking up a fucking hitchhiker anymore, right?
Well, that's what I said.
hope
Do you
not.
think in the intro, I was like, in this day and age?
Every single boomer I've met is terrified of cities. Do you think they're pulling over and helping a hitchhike? They'd be like, what if he's in a gang?
Which is weird, because boomers grew up
What if
with
he's an illegal
hitchhikers.
immigrant?
Like, they were the people who were hitchhiking or giving rides to
the Grateful
hitchhikers.
Dead concerts.
And now they forgot where they came from.
Yeah.
They're like,
They forgot their roots.
I'd argue in many ways they did. Yeah, that's true.
He remains silent, ignoring questions, and often staring at the Good Samaritan.
The second the man gets in my car and
starts staring
and is silent, get out of my car.
You gotta say, like, hey, thanks
for the ride. I'm going
Maybe
this
he's
way.
waiting until the end of the ride. Like, what if you picked him up and took him, like, the opposite direction?
He signed
he's
up on the
trying to go?
Uber for a silent ride. And
Yeah, he signed up for a silent ride. Well, so this guy, he sees you as an Uber. He remains silent, ignoring questions, and often... I said that already.
You did, yeah. He stares at the Good Samaritan.
Yeah, you nailed it. He eventually vanishes before their eyes, or is no longer there when they turn to look.
that's what vanishes
It's the
before
same
their eyes.
thing.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Hey, Chris, little tips?
Little wordy.
These are all constructive criticisms, Chris. We're loving the story so far. Chris,
great job.
This is usually followed by some type of audio finale where he laughs at them, yells, or taunts them. Which is so, like, that's just so fucked up, where you, like, give him a ride and he's like, oh, fucking idiot, you stupid piece of shit.
You fell for
Bitch ass little
You got boomed.
you fell for my bit.
There are other tales attached to the mysterious man, much like some of the stories from Freetown. There are also tales of people who drive through him, only to find no evidence of an impact when they stop. That is pretty freaky.
I mean,
why would you stop? First of all,
Because you just hit a man.
yeah, no, I know. I'm not. You think let me turn myself in. Get the fuck out of here. Also, what is it with fucking people in Massachusetts? Why do they love to say town names and things? Chris is like, yeah, in Sudbury.
Well, 'cause he's writing it-
Sudbury, you can fucking.
he's writing it for South Coast.
This is a local,
time
yeah,
or
it's a
whatever.
local
Hey,
story.
if you go through up all the way to Peabody, it gets fucking crazy, and then you turn around down fucking. It's like, come on,
You take a left down Gardener's Neck
Freak
Road.
down, holy shit! But Fall River, that's where the real ghosts are.
Yeah, it's a local story. This podcast is going to focus on local stories for a while, and then we're going to branch out across
love it.
America and then the world.
I think the easiest. Are we allowed to start binking? Are we allowed
Absolutely.
to bink throughout here?
Oh yeah.
I think the easiest way to bink this is that there was just fog on the road.
Yeah, you're just
Somebody saw a
you're just
wisp of
scared.
fog
You're just
across the
scared.
road.
You're a scared baby, and it's dark out.
And had maybe heard the story.
Does he come out during the day?
That's a great question.
I think they said mostly at night.
Mostly at night
Yeah,
and
so-
alone.
yeah,
You have
so-
to be driving alone.
Mostly alone,
If you're
yeah.
driving
It's like
with
you're
another
a-
person, there's
you're
not
a-
enough space.
You're a sleepy, scared girly, and the rose gold man comes out. And
The amount of
Rose
the rose gold
man.
eyes man that comes out.
The craziest thing to me is the amount of times that I've been driving around like at night, and there have been like a car pulled over on the highway, and I just go, I never saw that. I didn't see that car until I was past
Yeah.
it. Like I'm not seeing like a translucent man just like on the side of the road.
There was a day, like the most scared I ever was driving, like ghost wise. I left my beautiful wife then girlfriend's house, and I got in the car, and like it was kind of like it's kind of rainy, kind of foggy. And as I drove, it like got foggier, and then I got to the highway, and it was so foggy that I couldn't see the trees on the side of the highway.
Oh.
It was like so like
That's
I couldn't see like
spooky.
a foot around the car, and then I like they were doing like road work on 24. They had closed the whole highway, so they diverted me through Somerset and Freetown and stuff.
Oh, you're
And, like,
mentioning the towns.
And I was driving through like farmland, and it was just completely covered in fog. And I was like, "This is fucking
I've seen
scary.
that.
This is scary as hell."
There's like
Yeah.
a tractor out in the field.
and I was like, "There's got to be a fucking chupacabra or a scarecrow monster man or something."
Killian, you will be glad to know this is a deep plug, but for Halloween we're doing cryptids.
A deep plug.
A long plug for Halloween.
A long plug.
It's deep too. For Halloween we're doing cryptids, and we are most certainly talking about chupacabras.
I'm a big cryptid.
Sasquatch.
I'm a big cryptid fan.
runs in the family.
Others have seen him on the side of the road, vanishing into the woods or waving and disappearing. Still, others have been scared to see him outside their car window while they were traveling at high speeds, or have him suddenly be in their back seat. So this man is like moving at the speed of the car.
Yeah, that would spook me.
That would spook me too.
That would spook me.
You're looking out to the right, and the haunted drive-in crooner is just like
not even that. Like, yeah, that'd be terrifying. But like, you're just driving along, and then you look in your back
Oh,
seat,
and
and
there's
there's
a
just
fella?
a person.
there's a fella in your back seat, and you're like, how'd you get in here? Yeah, no, that would spook me for sure. Anyone who has driven that stretch of road at night can understand the uneasy feeling that pervades Route 44. A similar scene plays itself out in any rural towns across America, where there are more legends than streetlights. That is true. That area probably doesn't have a ton of streetlights.
No,
Also true. Yeah.
It is a classic movie setup, which may have something to do with the appearance of the spirit. The earliest written record of the occurrence was set down by Charles Turek Robinson in his 1994 book, New England Ghost Files.
That was really late.
that's real late.
That's really late.
This is a new ghost.
This is like
Yeah.
one of the oldest areas of the country.
This is new age ghost right now.
I respect Chris for doing a little muckraking here. He's figuring out the bullshit.
Do you think he's trying to sell the book?
I don't know.
Charles Turek Robinson?
You think that Chris Salzanzo or whatever
Bolsonaro.
you think Chris Bolsonaro is a Italian pseudonym for Mr. Robertson is what you're suggesting.
Not
He's like,
necessarily. Maybe
he's like, how do I sell my stupid book about the Bridgewater Triangle?
Maybe they
He's
have
like,
a deal or something.
They have the same publisher.
They have the same publisher.
yeah, Mr. Robinson sitting at home with his typewriter. He's like, I gotta sell my book. He's like, I know. Opa, it's me, Charles over here. I'm an Italian man. I got lost in the city. It's a great idea.
Well, I am actually kind of curious to read New England Ghost Files, because that might be some good content for the podcast. In it, he describes several encounters in detail. In one, the hitchhiker is seen outside the window of a fast-moving car. Another person picked him up only to have him vanish from the car. The most disturbing story in his book tells of a couple who broke down at about 10 p.m. So this is like
So
the
there's
first
multiple people.
This is the first account of multiple people.
Yeah.
Or at least the first one mentioned in this. The woman stayed in the car while the man went to get help. They both suffered separate experiences.
He got them both. He's running back and forth.
He scared the man and then
Just scared your bitch ass husband.
sprinted into the car and then scared the lady too. The man saw him on the side of the road and tried to talk to him. The red-headed man began yelling at him and then disappeared, laughing from all directions as the man made his way back to the car. The woman heard his voice come over the radio, taunting her until she ran from the car. So, full disclosure, we have done this story before on the old podcast previously mentioned. And
I never banked.
I don't know if we talked about this, but in hindsight, I was thinking, could it have just been Ozzy Osbourne yelling about Crazy Train?
She's like, I heard a really scary, it went like,
because like
a scary man told me to bark at the moon.
Because like how does that start? Like he goes like
Yeah.
And like that's scary if you're not expecting that to come on.
She's like, I heard the sickest riff of all time, and then he laughed at me.
Somehow the ghost knows how to shred guitar.
He's like, yeah, the ghost had like probably one of the greatest minute-long solos I've ever heard.
People in the town have mixed feelings about their resident ghost. In a town known for its many hauntings, the hitchhiker is the most asked about. So they're asking.
They're like, hey, what about Billy Strings in the fucking fire department house? You know, he's scary.
You hear the story about Bobby Zancudo, how he saw the ghost and he tripped because the ghost took his pants down.
Those Bridgewater Italians always making up stories.
Law enforcement hates the attention, and the investigators.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, all right.
People are calling the cops on this.
The cops are like, yeah, I want to do my job, but I've got to sit around talking about ghosts all day. I'd love to collect double payment for doing a detail while pretending to be sick.
Do you think they're staking the ghost out?
Fucking kidding me. Oh, look, Chris, I was with you till you said the cops want to do their jobs, okay?
Law enforcement hates the attention and the investigators he brings to the town. But some residents embrace it, asking a local merchant, will you get another story?
The local silversmith will move a tale.
Going to the apothecary.
The cobbler.
The 1995 local merchant.
Asking a local merchant will get you another story, usually beginning with the preface that it did not happen to him and it was a few years back. So we're talking
I'm
about
glad it didn't end with the preface.
secondhand stories.
Yeah.
Secondhand stories.
I'm really curious about the first written recording. Still hung up on the first written recording being in 1994.
The first written recording came after.
That was the year we were all born.
Also came after 50 Stephen King books.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe, but also like it could just have been like a verbal thing and no one ever thought to write it down?
No, I don't think that.
No.
I think there'd be some fucking pilgrim who was like,
Oh, I saw.
Twain was very scary down the road, you know, like.
Yeah, I mean
Black Shuck or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
What is the
Black Phillip.
Black Phillip.
it's just like the oldest area in the country, and
Yeah.
we have like written
It's carved
like
into
witch hunt stories.
It's carved
from
into
like
tiny Plymouth Rock.
At least the Croatoan fake bullshit has a fucking tree with some scratches in it, you know?
I don't
like
even know
Pilgrim Times.
what is that.
Croatoan.
It's like an island up near Maine that like disappeared, and then they wrote like Croatoa or whatever on the trees.
Excuse me while I add that
And then there was
to
like
the
an
episode
and then
list.
people were like, who knows what happened? There's like an island nearby. And a bunch of people who were like half Native American, half white showed up. And it was like, oh, I think they fucked people on their island. They took a fuck vacation to Croatoa or whatever.
It's just a fuck island?
Yeah. It's a sort of a Love Island situation over in Croatoa.
Okay.
You know?
It's Temptation Island.
Anyway, I think there's a bad movie about it.
Not all the stories are told in the past tense. One woman claims she saw him walking into the woods on another road.
Hold on. Still the past tense.
Yeah.
She's not like, it's happening tomorrow. Tomorrow.
It's happening right now. Chris, write this down. It's happening to
the ghost
me.
is like, people laughing from all directions, you know?
When was this article written, Trev?
That's Chris's address.
That's Chris's address.
I just want to know when this was published.
Let me just save my
Had to have
spot.
been.
This is like a forum, right?
Yeah, let me just save my spot and I'll open the article. I'm reading it from my notes here.
On the last podcast, that had to have been 2018, 20.
Yeah, it was.
16?
No, it was like 2020 probably.
Was it?
Oof. Unfortunately, we do not have a date on this article. I could do some digging and maybe answer that in our episode description, which I'm calling Spooky Specimens.
Okay. I was gonna say ghoulie bites.
Oh, ghoulie bites is great too. Okay, now I'm gonna have a hard time deciding. So yeah. Anyway, not all stories are told in the past tense, but one woman told it in the past tense.
She did.
She describes him differently and claims he never had red hair.
Okay.
But rather died on another road with the color red in it.
This is ridiculous.
Most likely Redway Plain near Wilmarth Bridge Road.
Hey, no offense to this woman. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, you making this all about you?
That is a stretch.
Everyone thinks this, but let me tell you this thing I made up in my head.
I saw him over here. The guy can walk. He's a hitchhiker.
Yeah.
I know
He's a ghost.
I know it's of Route 44, but the man, like, maybe he got bored.
It's a big road.
Maybe he got bored of Route 44.
The vicinity of Route 44.
Hitchhike haunt somebody at Disney.
You're eternally walking Route 44 since 1994, and maybe you want to see something else.
Yeah.
He's on vacation. Anyway, she says a local farmer died on that road after getting hit by a car changing a tire for a stranded motorist. Wow. Imagine that, being a good Samaritan, and you just get blasted by a car, and that's your last moment, is just changing a tire.
It's tough, man.
L for
That's
the
why
boys.
I won't learn how to change a tire.
None of this has been able to be confirmed.
Yeah.
I'm
There would be
shocked.
police reports if that
I'm
happened.
shocked that this deranged woman couldn't discover
So-
a crime that happened apparently 2 years ago in her head.
Even Christopher
It's
thinks
like-
that this woman is full of shit.
Idiot.
Chris. So this is a different Chris. This is not.
I was like, okay.
Christopher is not speaking in the
Him
third
dropping
person.
a third person 90% of the way through the story was
Or-
wild.
Is he? Chris.
It was very hot and cool.
And is not writing this article.
He was telling me about how big his penis was when he talked about the ghost suddenly.
Chris has an uncomfortable relationship with the ghost. That is a.
Okay.
That is a very.
Is he gonna get head from the
It's complicated. He said he doesn't want anything more right now.
Chris insists he didn't come. But the stains on his pants prove otherwise.
He first read Robinson's books when he was younger and became so interested, he contacted the writer to talk about the story. He eventually lost the book and recently bought it again.
Why did you include that detail? He's a fucking moron who can't keep track of a book. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Why didn't he ask the author for a copy? He's hanging out with him. What a fucking dickhead.
Yeah. I love that he bought the book and was like, now I'm real interested. I gotta go talk to the author.
I love this book so much. Where the fuck did I put it?
Oh, that is a pretty irrelevant detail, but I appreciate it being in the article.
I'm gonna have to cut out like a minute of me just fucking laughing at this idiot.
Trev, the whole thing about us not shitting on the story is
No, we can.
This is some other guy.
It's playful. We're keeping it playful. We still,
This is
I appreciate Chris writing this. I think it's very interesting and entertaining.
I think it's funny that this other guy loves the book so much and just immediately loses it. I was like, I guess I'll buy it again.
Hold on, there's more to that sentence. He eventually lost the book and recently bought it again when the price had come down on the website.
that man was searching for deals.
He's like, I
love this book. I can't pay full price for it.
I love this book, but $22.50. Jesus Christ.
My arms are going numb. I think my circulation is getting cut off from laughing too much. Also, yeah, I guess you could have asked the writer for a copy, maybe.
It's so funny to be like, I love this.
My lungs are all fucked up now.
Doing asthma shots.
I love this book. I've lost it. I know the author, but I don't want to support him by paying full price. It's crazy line of logic.
Well, maybe
It's a book. It's like, how much could it cost?
maybe he told the author he lost it and he was gonna buy it for full price, and the author was like, "Don't fucking do that. The publisher gets all the money.
Wait for a sale on the website.
the author no longer has a copy on his computer. You know, he had to buy it. The author couldn't give it to him for free.
Just hilarious.
He finds out he lost the book in like October. He's like, I think I can wait until Black Friday to buy the book a second time.
Christopher, thank you so much for including that sentence in there. That was amazing.
And sorry to other Chris for you losing your favorite book.
He knew some of the history of the road and had seen 2 people die on a different part of it over the years. Holy fuck.
That's tough.
Is Chris okay?
No, he's buying his favorite
Maybe he
book
needs a
at half
therapist
price.
and not a ghost.
I feel a little bad. It sounds like he has some executive dysfunction because he's witnessed 2 murders on the street.
That's crazy. I haven't seen a single car death. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I've probably like driven by one.
I didn't see it happen. I did see the post of one.
Oof.
Which
okay.
I wouldn't.
It kind of counts. It half counts.
It didn't make me buy a book. Honestly. I could buy books full price.
It didn't make you interested in the highway that you saw it on.
No.
He has all but given up looking for the ghost because of what happened the first time after his tire blew. Ooh, so he had a scary experience.
The ghost is in one spot. I thought he'd given up looking on it because he couldn't find it. I'm like, you just got to stay in the one part of the road, man.
While waiting for a tow, the truck driver, this is a quote from Chris himself.
Yeah.
So I'll read this not in my narrator voice.
Other Chris.
Other Chris, not Christopher the author. Chris, the guy who bought the book for half price.
We're all kind of thinking that it's the same Chris, right? We're all kind of looped in on the same train of thought that it might be the same Chris.
I really want to believe in ghosts, so I also really want to believe that it's 2 different guys.
I think it's 2 different guys.
I just think Chris had to introduce himself in a natural way. It was like, I'm not going to pay full price for the book.
Didn't want to use the first person. I could see how that could be a thing, but I'm gonna lean into not being the skeptic here. While waiting for a tow truck driver, we were hearing noises most of the night. There was a rustling and we thought it was the wind. It didn't sound like an animal and we heard walking. We didn't want to turn the radio on because the story says he can talk through that. We turned the radio and our cells off. It was scary. I had read the story when I was 7 or 8, and it creeped me out enough. To be that close was too much. The truck came, and then the rustling just stopped. We were eager to get going.
Yeah.
I think Chris.
You think he got a
lot of things in his life?
Up a little
I
bit.
think Chris should maybe talk to someone that he feels comfortable with, who he can express his feelings with, because it sounds like Chris has gone through a lot. Yeah, he's having a tough time out there on the road.
Because it's another tire thing.
Yeah.
If he believes the story of that lady who said the guy died from changing a tire,
I also think he might have been a little more scared now that he had no way to talk to people or communicate with them
because he turned his cell phone off. I think I would like to keep my cell phone on in case the ghost shows up.
Yeah.
I can be like, help, and then the ghost gets me. It's too late, but they'll at least find my body, you know?
And I feel like if you have a radio station on, the ghost can't come through it.
I think he takes over the channel.
The ghost interrupts 94 HJY's program.
I
And
think
like,
so.
hey,
remember,
while you're rocking out, I'm rocking out on ghost
music. We are
music.
aging ourselves here.
Yeah.
Or I'm aging us. Remember the FM radio box that you would like turn on to connect your phone to it so you could like listen to your phone through the radio?
Never heard of it.
No, never heard of
Is
that.
that like a TikTok
Like
thing?
a radio transmitter?
I'm so young, I can't even comprehend.
I've literally never heard of that.
Did Taylor Swift sing about that in one of her songs? She's my favorite
I've
artist.
actually never heard of this.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
it's like a complicated workaround for an aux cable.
Yeah, so if you didn't, if you were me driving a 2005 Hyundai Elantra, there was no way for me to plug my phone into the car to like listen to stuff.
Because it's just like a tape deck.
So I just...
Oh, I've seen
So
tape deck ones.
So this is basically...
tape deck to whatever.
I had one that was just a little radio transmitter, and you could set the
You send it
channel.
to a station,
and then
a station between stations, basically, and then you find that station, and it's playing whatever you're putting out.
You're like broadcasting your audio.
Essentially,
to the
I
radio.
assume a super shortwave radio communicator that can only work for like 5 feet. 5 feet.
Yeah.
It only needs to because it's right in the car.
They specifically don't make it strong so you don't ruin other people's radio.
So you don't haunt Chris on the side of the road.
It was a horrible experience because it never worked well enough to get like a good signal.
Yeah, it was very finicky.
Yeah. But maybe this ghost is just a really powerful version of that.
Yeah. Well, or like a rude kid with a ham radio,
Or a rude
they say that
electromagnetic energy and stuff.
And spirit boxes, and it probably works the same.
So maybe that's what this hitchhiker ghost is doing.
The lady from the other story, when she broke down with her husband, said he came through the radio.
He came through the radio singing Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train. And it was a different version, so that's how she knew it wasn't the actual song. While he can explain all of that away, another time driving down 44 makes him put more weight into the stories he hears from others.
I traveled down that strip of road again. It was late, and I had fallen asleep as my other friend drove. She stopped short and was panicking. I woke up startled and confused. She said she thought she hit someone, and we looked around to see no one in sight. Then I recognized where we were. I told her to get going and not to ask questions. To my surprise, the car didn't start right away, and after the third try, it did. We drove off, and I explained to her about the red-headed phantom, and she flipped, claiming the man she thought she hit looked like the ghost I had described.
We've talked about this before, Brett, on the old podcast. I think, I'm not supposed to say this, I'm supposed to believe, but we came to the conclusion she was probably just pranking him.
Yeah, or so if Chris has been crying about this possible ghost once a week, if you know him for sure. The other thing is that like she's a very sleepy, potentially not very bright woman who just saw a blob and freaked out and then slammed on her brakes, and then a confused, scared, sleeping man woke up and was like, was there a ghost there? Was he redheaded? And you were like, yeah, it looked like a guy. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm picturing this like, you know, the videos where someone is driving behind a truck, towing another truck, and they're like, I don't get this chance very often. Their passenger's sleeping, and they go, holy fuck! And then the person wakes up, and they're like, we're gonna crash.
Yeah.
I think it's like that, where she's like, we're on Route 44. Chris is sleeping. We are in a misty area.
Yeah.
I could pull some shit right now.
Yeah.
Also, weird of Chris, known skeptic of Route 44, to just fall asleep on the road.
Well,
Yeah, don't fall asleep, Chris.
Yeah, you know what happens.
Chris, be
maybe it's
careful.
sort of like a,
you know what happens in the area.
You know how Gengar, you cast like hypnosis before you dream eater. That's like he got hit with the bearded man hypnosis.
The bearded man, man lulled him to sleep.
Okay, so the redheaded hitchhiker put him to sleep.
He's pulling a sick prank.
He played like a Jigglypuff song over the radio and put him to sleep.
But just for Chris.
No, exactly. It
Just for
was
Chris.
tuned to Chris's frequencies.
Another woman named Alice claims her and her friends saw the ghost.
Some of us snuck out one night and walked down that whole road all the way back to the railroad tracks. We think that we saw him. We all did. Let me tell you, when we saw that misty figure in the shape of a man, we bolted down that road back to the house as fast as we could.
That was the least detail of any story in human history. Get the fuck out, Alice. No offense. We saw him. We all did. We remember it clearly. No detail.
Yeah.
And also a misty figure.
These
That's
kids
not
Shaped like a man.
But he hasn't been described as man-shaped. He's a person with specific red clothing and shit. She was like, it was of shape.
These kids broke out of their,
Yeah.
snuck out of their house, got real high, and walked to the train tracks.
Yeah. They had to cover up the fact that they did coke in the woods or something.
We
They were
don't
like,
know how old Alice is, but how many Alices do you know? I don't know any
Not many.
Alices.
Not many.
Two
How old are they?
or three. They're older, I guess.
They're older.
They're not that old.
Back then, back in the 90s, they were probably smoking on a little bit of the
for
devil's
sure.
lettuce.
Yeah. No, they're definitely
Doing
90s
some
smokable
reefer.
age. Yeah.
And then suddenly, Misty Man shows up.
They saw a security guard near a fence and had a panic attack. Yeah.
While Alice and her friends might have seen something, maybe even a ghost, it is only the location of the sighting that connects it
nothing
to the
about it.
hitchhiker.
Okay.
According to the research,
Because they weren't in a car.
Also,
Yeah.
I respect Chris when he senses some bullshit. He calls it a little bit,
Yep.
except for the guy who's clearly going through traumatic
maybe he was just
issues.
trying to be nice to
That
him.
guy, yeah, he was like, "I'm going to be gentle on Chris because he is fully freaking the fuck out."
Christopher is, he's given us what he's been told,
Yeah.
and then he's going, I don't know about this one.
You know that other Chris had like a big Mead 5-subject notebook full of like scribbles, and he was like, "All right, I gotta fucking."
No, it's just a book that he bought for half price. According to research, he has never been seen as just missed. So, I think Alice might also be full of shit too.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alice.
Wait. They say like
Sometimes he's transparent.
yeah,
though.
sometimes he's like missed.
Not missed though. He's transparent.
There's a stark difference.
I think he meant translucent when he said transparent. I guess I don't know. I guess you can see through him, so maybe there's parts of him that are
yeah,
transparent.
like slightly transparent, I guess is the thing. I'm speaking from Photoshop
I call that shit
experience.
translucent.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be
in my
translucent.
game. I don't think people use translucent enough. I think they're too coy.
They don't.
They're too coy about saying translucent these days.
That's fair. But I think if someone was translucent, it would still warp whatever you're seeing through them a little bit. If you could like see through him but still see a shape, you could consider him transparent. I'm speaking from Photoshop experience here, so I'm a little bit different.
About this. He's got 50 layers, that guy.
I'm not like other ghost
That's a great
spinkers.
point.
Wanda became interested in the story. This is an old
so
lady
many
for sure.
fucking people in this story.
We still have a lot of story left.
Jennifer, Sally, David.
Wow, I didn't realize how not
You're scrolling.
we are not very far. In the story.
Let's go. I'll stop interrupting.
We still, we still have like 10 to 15 minutes.
You scrolled a lot for 10 minutes.
Also, to be fair, I started recording a little
you
bit
set
early.
the time limit.
Yeah.
Do a 2-hour ghost bink. I'll bink every fucking ghost I hear
Yeah,
from Wanda.
you're the one that has to edit through all this.
You're right,
nonsense.
All right, let's fucking blast Wanda right now.
Wanda became interested in the story. I'm having a good time, so I don't.
Yeah.
really care.
I'm having a great time.
Wanda became interested in the history of the ghost after having seen him in her car one night. She was alone and saw him in the rearview mirror. The radio started to scan the stations and then became so loud it shook the car. That's kind of freaky. The man disappeared and began to laugh on the radio.
I looked into it, but found nothing about him. Who this guy is a mystery.
Wanda, you didn't find Mr. Robertson's book from 1944?
No,
I
it's
don't do fucking
1994.
I meant to say 94, and I just too many numbers.
She looked into it, but she found nothing.
Okay, I don't think Wanda looked that hard.
I don't. So Wanda kind of just did like a I tried. She did a Google.
Wanda went to the library and was like, I don't know.
I think she had her grandson open up Google and then she typed in who is the red man in my car and nothing popped
Well,
up.
that's the thing is like, when did this happen?
Yeah.
Because the first time it was written down was 1994.
Maybe she couldn't Google it. Maybe it happened in '93.
Yeah.
She should have asked some guys for the oral history of the whole thing.
She should have went to the local merchant.
Charles, what's his name?
Yeah.
Charles Matinee. What's his name?
Yeah, Robinson?
Yeah, that's it. Stories like this are not unusual. Like a highway boogeyman, the hitchhiker takes the blame for everything unexplained happening on the road. Then, there are those natural things made to feel more supernatural given the history of the ghost. The explainable leaps into the part of the lore, and witnesses become convinced before rational thought can enter the question. That's fair. You're spooked. You've heard the story. You're like, that was fucking scary. And you just go, that had to have happened. It couldn't possibly be. Because
Nothing.
Because I was asleep and I was breathing the swamp gases.
Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate Chris doing a lot of pre-binking here for me.
Yeah.
Chris honorary binker.
Yeah.
I would maybe reach out to Chris.
You do
Christopher. I don't want. I want to keep Chris and Christopher
Okay,
separate
sorry.
mentally, just so we don't
I didn't
confuse the
think
listeners.
he should have changed that name because I've been calling
That's
Chris the
fair.
whole episode.
That
now
is
I'm
fair.
stuck.
You do see a lot of that, like these small town stories where like people just keep passing them along. You don't often hear like a New York City ghost story.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there's some from like clubs. When,
Well, you know why?
When gangsters are around.
Because in New
shit like
York,
that.
so many crazy things are happening. You see a
Yeah.
ghost. That is
It's easy to explain
that
it
is
away.
The 15th most crazy thing you've
Dude, I would kick
experienced all day.
I would kick the fucking shit out of a ghost if he fucking got in my way.
Yeah. A lot of these stories happen when like there's nothing going on.
For a small town, like this is the most exciting thing that's
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
for like 3 months.
You go to get in your seat at a Yankees game, and then like the guy who's in your seat is gone after you argue with him for 20 minutes. You're like, what the fuck?
It's the ghost of the great Bambino. It feeds the mythos of the story. I don't like saying mythos. I'm going to say
I
mythos.
like mythos.
It feeds the mythos of the story. Most of the modern stories about the Phantom come from second and third hand stories. People retell them as true, almost as if they had happened to them. Recently, reports have been posted on the internet by people claiming to have seen the ghost. The majority of these can be discounted because the information seems to be a compilation of the rumors heard. Most do not get the town or physical description right. So it's just, we got some grifters, out here trying to trick people into buying their redheaded hitchhiker merch. The stories also start to feel like urban legends. Melanie, we got another person. Melanie has never seen the ghost before, but she says the story travels with her and her friends when they drive around. To be fair, that's me.
Okay, that's me. I was gonna say, what the fuck could her contribution possibly be if she has nothing? But then I guess she was just talking to her. He was just chatting her up.
Here are some things I have heard from reliable sources about the hitchhiker in Rehoboth. Apparently, what happens is if you have 3 people in the car and 1 empty spot in the back seat, he supposedly appears in the vacant seat for a while and then vanishes. The second thing is a bit more frightening. The driver will look over at the passenger in the front seat and see the hitchhiker. Upon his disappearance, the passenger will have no recollection of what happened. The second one happens more frequently than the first.
Still, I haven't heard enough information to be comfortable going there. I'm sure something does happen. I just don't want to be put in a potentially dangerous situation.
The stories do not stop her from driving the stretch of the road, though. So that is a totally different experience from what most people have said. Yeah. But she's saying she's hearing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
that's just some shit she
Where
hears.
is she hearing that from?
Yeah, exactly. Like
this fucking
often
post. She read this. She read this. The pre-version of this post before it went
How
up there.
often is this happening that she's hearing it so often that it like circulates around her friend group?
Well, I also that's kind of a question I have in general, Brett, that you hit on is like, does this guy show up once a week? Is it like once
how
a
often
year?
is he showing up?
Does it like, like, is it only during misty things? Is it like during the summer?
Yeah.
Is it the winter? Like,
well, because like without doxing us, like we're in the area of the triangle.
Yeah.
I've never heard a single person that I know talk about.
I've heard people tell these stories to me, basically.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I mean, we did this story on the podcast, but between then and now, I have not heard it again.
Yeah.
I've only heard it.
I might have read it on. I might have read it on Facebook once.
Oh, okay.
Like, because
I don't read local
it's local.
Facebook. I don't read local
Facebook.
I saw this guy.
It's one of those like not targeted, but like the random posts that'll pop up where it's like South Coast spooky time.
Oh.
And then it's just there's like old guys in the comments being like, they try to turn my kid into a girl. I'm gonna fucking shoot him.
That's
Trump.
I'll get to that part about the hitchhiker. Yeah. One of the last stories told about the hitchhiker is almost textbook urban legend. John has never had an encounter with the ghost, but his brother's friend had taken the air out of his lungs by something he saw on the road. So what is that, a tertiary source?
Yeah.
His wife's boyfriend.
He had been driving alone when he saw him on the side of the road. He stopped and called out to the man who started to walk towards him. As he got closer, he faded until he had completely disappeared.
This sounds like it may be true, but John goes on to tell how to bring out the spirit.
See, he had driven to the town line. They say if you drive to the town line, turn off your lights and honk 3 times. He will appear in your car or in your headlights when you turn them back on.
But first, you've got to buy this special amulet I have on sale.
This guy had tried that.
It's a totem of sorts.
But it didn't work. I guess the ghost was slow that night.
So
doing a bit.
So John,
again, the first time that we're
John's
hearing
doing a little bit.
anyone ever saying
do you
you
think,
do this.
Do you think John is being mean to Christopher? Is he trolling?
No, I don't think he cares about Christopher at all. I think he's like, I got a funny little joke I'll talk about. You know, I guess the ghost is slow.
This is my 5 minutes of fame.
What's the ghost? My nephew.
Story.
He's late for fucking Thanksgiving. You know, like.
Stories like this make the believer in us nod our heads and avoid the roads. I will say John's story, as the resident believer, John's story is not convincing. What, you have a secret code with the ghost?
Yeah. You gotta hum la cucaracha and then the ghost comes out.
I think some of the other ones are more believable.
Yeah, I mean, of course, if you think there's like a ritual to bring the ghost out, you're going to think you see the ghost when you turn your lights back on.
You're in full.
That's fair.
You're
in full true believer mode.
Yeah, not even true believer, just like attempting to have it happen.
Yeah,
you're willing it to happen.
You're so desperate to have it happen.
Yeah.
When people get hypnotized, they put themselves in a state where they're like willing to do things.
Yeah. It's like when I think I'm sick and then I like start really looking at my symptoms and I'm like, oh, I'm definitely sick. Yeah. And then I lean into it and then I'm actually sick.
I suppose it is like that, bud.
Stories like this make the believer in us nod our heads and avoid roads. They make the skeptics laugh. Every state has something like this, they say. And despite dozens of sightings over the decades, there is no documented proof other than first-hand stories of the encounters or tertiary stories from John.
Chris said it makes the skeptics laugh. What makes the skeptics laugh is when a guy won't buy a book at full price. That's what makes the skeptics laugh.
That is the funniest part.
The cheapest man of all time.
I can't stop laughing. Every time I think about it. It's so funny
that he's like, I love this book. I talked to the author. I'm not going to buy it again. I lost it immediately, but I'm not going to buy it again.
There are psychological and physical alternatives to the hauntings, as well as the entire canon of myths and urban legends utilizing the basic motif of the lonely road and the hitchhiker or traveler. Yet, just because something can be explained doesn't mean it has been. Most hauntings, he's really playing that line.
I know. He's towing.
Christopher, you've got me on the edge.
He is the fence right now.
Most hauntings like the red-headed hitchhiker have fallen into the realm of local legend, told as cautionary tales and local color. The most famous of these is Resurrection Mary in the Chicago area that has been reported in books and television shows such as Unresolved Mysteries.
You think Resurrection Mary is a Cubs fan or a White Sox fan?
Oh, shit, I don't know.
Probably Cubs.
I was thinking
The
Cubs.
hauntings
I was
increase
thinking
when the White Sox win 40 fucking games a year.
Mary was a teenage immigrant who was killed in a car
give it
accident
away.
while going home from a dance. Yeah, I guess.
The good stuff away.
Christopher, wait, please. She is still seen in her dress traveling the road between the hall and the cemetery at which she is buried, trying to get home. She is often picked up and has been known to interact with the people who do so. She asks to be dropped off near the cemetery and vanishes near it, or vanishes from the car as it passes. So this is very similar to the red-headed hitchhiker.
I do like the idea of these being like stemming from cautionary tales. Like it makes a lot of sense if you're like,
Don't pick up a hitchhiker.
hey, don't pick up a hitchhiker. It's like, hey, don't walk this stretch of road by your like. There's a like
Wear your safety orange.
Yeah, from the beginning of time, there have been like stories of like things in the woods that kidnap children, and it's like because these people didn't want their children to run out and get eaten by wolves. So there's been stories forever where it's like, hey, this spooky guy is in the forest.
Hey,
don't go over there.
Don't run into the forest. You're gonna get caught by the Unga Bunga fairy.
Yeah.
No,
That makes the most like. But
that is a good
still,
point.
the first documented case is 94.
Well, at least of this guy, maybe Haunting Mary or whatever her name is a little bit older. It is also possible that's just very common ghost behavior, and every state has one.
Yeah.
If this sounds familiar, it should. It has been adopted by most states and several countries on both sides of the ocean.
You should have shut up and let Chris do his fucking job.
I guess so.
Christopher, sorry, Jesus.
There have been similar occurrences in other parts of the country, including Kentucky, St. Louis. Oh, well, I got thrown off by the state and then the
Kentucky,
city.
St. Louis?
Kentucky, St. Louis, North and South Carolina, and Arkansas.
What cities in North and South
I
Carolina?
don't know.
Arkansas?
Hawaii has a long history of hitchhikers vanishing, and for a long time, it was thought to be the volcano god Pele, who stole rides with horsemen and drivers.
I was gonna say Hawaii's has got to be more fun.
Yeah,
than ours,
yeah.
man. Ours is like, it's a guy, he's got a flannel.
Anything with
Hawaii,
mythology
they're like,
always
it's a
more
big man with a
interesting.
surfboard, and he turns into a fireball.
All have some twist unique to that area of the country, and all are built upon first-hand reports, later spiced up and allowed to fall into myth and exaggeration. These stories might be part of a broader tradition that continues to grow. Jan Brunvard, the most decorated folklorist in modern times,
I was like, why'd we suddenly get a last name?
Yeah.
That explains it.
has written extensively on the topic of the vanishing hitchhiker. New variants are being added every year. Some stories
There's
have a
new
man.
skins for the killer.
Yeah, whatever you're vibing with.
Sabrina Carpenter, Fortnite skin.
Some stories have a man pick up a girl and drop her off at her house only to find her no longer in the car. When he approaches the door, he is told by the people inside that it was the ghost of their daughter that died years ago on the stretch of the road.
Can you imagine? Like, oh my God. You're like, yeah, that was the ghost of my dead daughter. She died on the side of this road 50 years ago.
Do you think that's someone grieving, just trolling people?
I mean, I would say to, I guess, some strange child. I'd be like, yeah, that was the ghost of my daughter.
I would say it to Chris, who is kind of having a rough time.
Chris is freaking the fuck out.
Another has two men or a group of men pick her up and bring her to the prom. They dance with her on the... yeah.
Going to prom? You don't find that a little strange?
Going to prom.
Like, yeah, well, this random high school on the side of the road, we'll go to prom with her.
They dance with her all night, noticing how cold she feels before she vanishes.
Do the kids at the prom notice? The other kids at the prom? A prom is not three people.
Wait, do you think it's just two men dancing with each other?
There's 300 high school kids, and they're like, why are these guys who are clearly fucked up out of their mind on swamp gas
It's
dancing?
two closeted gay men dancing together at the prom.
Oh, no,
and be like, no, we have a third. There's a girl
There's
here.
often proof left behind, like a scarf or a jacket left on a gravestone. Whoa, so there is tangible.
Her jacket?
Yeah, I guess.
What gravestone?
Do they take the...
A gravestone
What are they-
at prom.
What happens to the jacket after? Does it go away?
No, it's just left behind. She was wearing the jacket because she's so cold, and then she disappears, and the jacket is left behind.
wears the jacket.
Does she leave a new jacket every time?
They're dancing with her, then they're like, "Oh, she's just a jacket."
They're just holding a jacket.
Also, are they dancing around? Is this ghost like hot? They're kind of dancing around.
Okay, well,
because it's a high school ghost, so I think they're trying to not be. But like,
I think
it sounds like if you're a ghost and you get two men to go to prom with you, it sounds like you're serving a little bit.
For Ghostbinger's Legal is telling me that the ghost is actually 18 years old.
Yeah, 18-year-olds go to prom.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brett.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
She's a senior. She's 18.
Maybe she's dumb. Maybe she's 19.
Totally normal.
Yeah,
for
maybe
Maybe
she
she's a
stayed back.
stupid 19-year-old.
Maybe she's 21.
Yeah, hey, that's really bad for
Totally normal for two men to take an 18-year-old senior girl to.
Oh, Ghostbinger's Legal is emailing me 100 times. My phone is binging with Ghostbinker emails.
Another whole string, more in line with the hitchhiker on Route 44, has a man being picked up or just appearing in the back seat. He often has something prophetic to tell the driver that comes true and is sometimes Jesus himself.
Where is this happening?
Kentucky.
Probably Kentucky. Whoa. Sorry to clip there, but one of the most disturbing tales is of a naked woman seen lying in the road in California.
Oh, I called it.
The driver gets out, but she's no longer there.
Wee woo.
Bonk.
Yeah.
Despite his searching and the help of the police, there is no one found. After 3 nights of sightings, they finally find her car off the road and hanging off an embankment. She is dead inside, but her son is alive, hanging on to the last moments of life. Is this a thing that happens a lot?
Yeah, it's happened like once a month.
What is going on?
Reports have said the driver's eyes go wee and their tongues unfurl like a big long carpet.
Auga.
Like, what the fuck? Also, yeah, so you said this like this is a multiple time thing.
Yeah.
Cops in California are like, yeah, I pulled
finding-
over on the side of the road and like her like she was dead, but like her son was there and he was like clinging on to life in the last moment.
Maybe this is a one-time thing.
Okay.
One of the most disturbing tales.
Yeah, but then you said like after
driver
3
gets
nights
it.
of sightings.
Yeah, like,
Oh, yeah, that's a good
so they
point.
saw her for 3 nights and then found her car.
Yeah.
And then found the kid alive in 3 times.
That kid
So
would
like
be
they
out of
searched
water.
the first night.
Yeah, that kid's got to be
They found
running
the
in
kid.
water.
Didn't find no.
They don't find a kid till like 3.
Yeah.
Oh, after 3 nights of sightings,
Yeah.
they finally find her car.
Well, but before that, he wrote that they searched with the police on the first night.
Yeah.
To try and find.
been searching
Honestly, this is the most believable part.
They searched
Police
for
are just
3
not looking very hard.
Yeah, they searched for 3 nights.
I mean, to find a car hanging off an embankment.
I mean, California's a big state, you know what I mean?
That's why Christopher Dorner shot all those LAPD officers. He was like, you didn't find that kid who was stuck in the car, the naked lady?
The naked lady
died.
with her kid in the car.
The hot naked lady in the car, you didn't find her kid fast enough.
Who also went to prom.
I'm going to shoot all you guys. Yeah, anyway.
The connective tissue of these stories is the lonely road and the unknown, and their symbols resonate with the reader because they are common and universal. Michael White offers another theory in his book. His 1999 book,
Theories?
Weird Science, The Unexplained by Science.
I might have read this book.
The Unexplained explained by Science.
I might have read this book.
You might have.
As a cool Reddit skeptic in 2014.
He writes about hypnagogic and hypnopomic hallucinations and claims it explains away the majority of the hitchhiker stories. During long drives at night, especially in dark, secluded places, we tend to fall asleep. The repetitive scenery and lull of the motor and constant yellow or white lines in the road put us in a hypnotic state that simulates the beginning and ending stages of sleep when we begin to enter a type of dream state. Our imagination is fed by the stories we hear about an area or the cliche environment we are in, and we see things that are not there. People have even been known to interact and feel physical sensations from this stage of sleep. So Killian, skeptic, you got some actual scientific evidence
Yeah, there's a lot going on
of
for
what's
me.
going on.
It's a very Bing-friendly episode.
Yeah. I wonder how many of these, like, because I guess it wouldn't make sense if you were traveling through the area and you weren't from here to experience something like this, and your first thought is to like tell it to somebody, like you know what I mean? Like how many times it goes? I mean, if it happens,
Quote unquote.
if it quote unquote happened, like how many times it just goes unreported?
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point because it's like, oh, that was weird.
Yeah.
No one's going to believe me.
Exactly, and you're like, I'm not from the area, like I don't know.
I feel like I would at least.
I don't know who to tell.
I would tell my girlfriend about it. Probably
the police. It's 1997. it's fucking. It's 2003. Turn off your Britney Spears on the radio and use your cell phone to call the police.
With mounting evidence against the possibility of the existence of the red-headed hitchhiker, is there any evidence he does exist?
Damn, Christopher.
We have 3 paragraphs left.
Oh my fucking god.
We're almost there. If you look at the reports before the area was modernized, some things stick out. First, most of the people reporting the occurrences did so with no sinister motives, and most of the people Robinson interviewed were asked about a separate legend completely and offered the hitchhiker story. Next, many of the people had never heard the legend and did not know each other. At times, the Phantom has appeared to more than one person, which would make a hallucination like the one White talked about near impossible.
Yeah.
Nope.
Disagree, brother.
Then, there is the ghost himself. He seems unworldly, unlike the people often seen in the urban legend. He offers no advice or prophetic promises. In fact, he doesn't talk. His goal does not seem to get home, but to scare and taunt. He also has appeared outside cars moving over 50 miles an hour, which shows up in none of the urban myth research. Lastly, he comes from an area long known to have paranormal activity. I would say this is just because he's a New England ghost. New England ghosts are going to be out here trying to insult some people. Hey, what the fuck,
Yeah,
dog?
we're not nice people. I also think the really fast ones probably just like you see an orange shape. You just, I feel like you just see some orange leaves and your brain is like, orange man.
Oh, I'm picturing him flying next to your car and doing like the pointing to his eyes and then pointing to you.
That'd be cool.
He's like,
It'd be
I
the
see
cool
you.
version of that,
I see you. I'm following you home. I would hate to take him home.
Well, you can't. He'll laugh at you instead.
He doesn't have a home.
What if I accidentally lock him in the car?
I'll take the ghost girl to the cemetery.
to the prom?
No.
Not that one.
No, I'm not going to fucking... I'm not...
The Chicago ghost girl.
I don't want to hold her jacket.
I don't want to get 4 hours of plans.
The Cubs fan.
But
the
Cubs
fan, Mary.
The girl who's like, I gotta go to the cemetery.
Ghost Mary.
Yeah, but I'm not going to a fucking high school. Are there other high schoolers there? Well, how did these guys get to the... I don't understand this.
Oh my
one.
god, what if it's like I don't want to spoil The Shining, but what if it's like The Shining? It's a ghost prom.
But like, did none of the... I don't...
It only happens on prom night.
I'm very confused.
We'll have to dig into
A
that
prom
one.
like necessitates a bunch of other people who were like,
Yeah.
who was this girl I've never met and these guys?
I'm assuming...
And these adult men.
I'm assuming they don't see the girl.
I don't...
That's even weirder because then it's like, who are these adult men in our prom?
I'm wondering...
Who are these adult men? Probably not wearing suits.
No, for sure.
I'm wondering
What are they doing at our prom?
if it takes more energy to manifest yourself to multiple people, or if you can just do it to one person or something.
Also, these guys, if they're not lying, it's got to be pretty easy to find that prom.
Oh my god!
How many fucking proms can there be in
they're
the
just
at the
making
area?
it up so they can
obviously for sure.
local proms?
Literally, obviously, 100%. But like, because if they were like, oh yeah, it was this year, like, there's only going to be so many there's only so many high schools, there's only so many proms. Yeah. They found the ghost in a certain area. You could literally interview everyone from all 10 proms. You know,
that's a good point. We're on the last paragraph. We're closing this out.
I don't even remember the last 2 paragraphs. I'm so on the prom guys still. They're deteriorating my brain.
The first encounters may be true. The stories date back longer before the internet and before people from the outside started to come in looking to pick him up. So basically, before he got popular, people were talking about it.
The first reported story
was 94.
The internet was around.
But I guess they're saying that Mr. Robinson heard them from people.
Yeah, that's why he wrote the book.
He collected them into a book, but I don't know.
But the idea there is like, okay, these people don't really know each other. They don't have the internet. I haven't wrote my book yet. They're all talking about him.
Are all these people in this small town near Bridgewater going to know each other? No.
Definitely not talking about it in their 1994 Facebook group.
Yeah.
The stories were probably met with a half nod when they were told. The original accounts were not far-fetched and told by friends. Then, the stories started to mix with movies and something someone had heard somewhere before. They became part of the town, and people no longer remembered where they had heard the story from. There is a ghost on the patch of road leading into Seekong, but he is no longer the man people would recognize. Now, only the local legend of the ghost haunts the town.
Oh, okay, interesting. So Chris is really talking about how, our lives are shaped by mythology.
Yeah.
And how, the distortions that our brains create in hearing stories, change them fundamentally.
Yeah, that's pretty deep.
But also he thinks ghosts are real because he thinks that dying a bunch makes ghosts appear.
Yes, well, because as I explained...
Wouldn't every fucking highway in America be super haunted?
Yeah.
By hundreds of people who got smashed into a fucking tree?
It really depends on the person who died and where their head was at when they died.
Okay.
That is the redheaded hitchhiker of Route 44. Our last thing that we have to do before we get into the outro is we have to put it on the Bink scale.
Oh, yeah.
Bink scale.
On a scale of 1 to 10,
How
10 being
easy it was to bink?
10 being
Brett, zero binks to 10 binks.
10 is fully binked.
Okay.
10 is fully binked, which means it has more binks.
1 is unbinked,
Zero
aka
is
bonked.
less binks. Unbinked.
So, Brett, I'll start with you because I think I know.
Don't start with the guy who doesn't understand the
Brett.
scale.
I'll start.
Why would we start with the guy who doesn't understand the scale?
was mocking the scale. I don't know it, so you got to start for sure.
All right. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say that this story is 6 binks. Because there was a lot of nonsense sprinkled in there. But the original stories, the original ones, I'm still scared to drive Route 44 at night. So there is a 4 unbinked part of me that is still believing.
Higher means less real?
Yes.
Okay.
How
Believable.
How bad did we bink this? We binked it so hard or not at all?
The more we binked, the least likely the ghost is to live. So 10 binks means we binked the ghost so thoroughly it's gone.
You did 10 damage.
Yeah, I would say like 8.5.
Yeah.
Okay, you binked it pretty hard.
Bonked it. Yeah.
I'm
Bonked is not good.
we bunked it. Is it possible that at some point somebody saw something? Yes. Do I
a lot of these stories kind of hard to believe.
Do I believe that it's as frequent or like it appeared on the radio? Like, no.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm just not buying it.
Totally understandable. Killian, where are you landing on the Bink scale?
I'm
here?
like, I gotta be a 9.5 sort of Bink.
Okay.
So the little sliver I'm giving is one like. Cut out the proms, cut out the jackets,
the half-price books.
Cut out the 3 days of searching and finding a kid. That's fucking stupid. Cut out the guy. I hate that he laughs at you. I hate that he uses the radio. The radio's stupid. Why did ghosts control the radio?
I hate the racial slurs that he says.
I love those. But I don't like his vibe. But I like the girl. So get the girl in there. She wants to go to the cemetery.
Yeah.
She disappears. That's cute. I like that. You never talk to her again. You're just like, oh, a girl. I wish I'd gone to prom with her. But I don't like the changing particulars. I find them irritating.
Yeah.
Sometimes he does this, and then sometimes he laughs.
Honk
at you.
3 times.
Sometimes he honks 3 times.
Turn
I
off
just,
your lights.
And driving at night is so scary that it's probably not true. And also, hitchhiking is gone now. Who the fuck is hitchhiking nowadays?
It's still a thing. People still do it.
That's crazy.
It is.
That's why the girl I believe because it's losers who are like, hey, I could go to prom with this girl, but like a fucking redhead guy.
Yeah,
They're lumberjack.
A disgusting man, according to Christopher.
I mean, you kind of hit it. What Christopher said, which is like. All the stories just started mixing in with all these other weird things, like you said, like the guy with the honking the horn, like that's
you get somebody who wants to spin a yarn and add their own flavor to it.
Do his little bit at the end.
Thank you, listeners, for checking out this episode of Ghost Binkers. You can follow us on social media at Ghost Binkers, pretty much on every social media platform, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok. You can email us, ghostbinkers@gmail.com. Please feel free to share a story of your own, request a story that you're interested in, argue with us. We'll take pretty much any interaction. You can berate us.
You can argue with me.
You can argue with Killian. Berate us. Tell us that we shouldn't have laughed about the guy that bought his book for half price.
It's still so funny.
And then lastly, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. You can find us anywhere podcasts are found. You found us on this one, so just keep listening here. Links to the stories that we read will be found in our Spooky Specimens, aka
Ghoulie bites.
Ghoulie bites. And lastly, thank you to Christopher of Balzano for writing this. I know we poked a lot of fun at it, but I do appreciate you being interested enough to write a whole article and the fact that we are able to have the free speech to be able to poke some fun at it.
And remember that not all stories of things that have happened are in the past tense.
On that note, that is our podcast. We'll bink you on the next episode.
Nope.
No. We'll work on that.
I don't like that one.
He writes about hypnagogic and
Mike White is so much smarter than you, brother. You're cooked.
Hypnopomic hallucinations and claims